Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up, the home edition. I'm in the greenhouse at home today. I'm going to show you this beast now, my bench propagator at home. It's 8 foot long by 2 foot wide and it's got a soil warming cable in it and it's controlled by a thermostat. So I'll just show you that, and then once you've had a quick look at that and how it's put together, we'll get on with sowing a few more seeds that I didn't get sown yesterday. So let's crack on. So it's 8 foot long, 2 foot wide, and the bed where the soil warming cable is 6 inches deep. Let's go and have a closer look. So it's actually quite difficult to film in the greenhouse here, but we'll give it a best shot. Now you can see I've got this base here. As I say, it's a good 6 inches deep. It's surrounded by polystyrene on all edges and underneath, and this layer, you might just be able to make this out, there's a plastic layer underneath the polystyrene and underneath all the sand. So I made the layer, put the plastic down, laid the polystyrene down, and then filled it half full with sand, and then I laid this cable down. And I'll just pull this, it's just sand, and you can see all I've done is I've just twisted this cable backwards and forwards, a bit like I suppose the elements in a kettle. And then that's a couple of inches under the surface, and all this sand does is keeps it in place, and it's a medium that can warm up, so it just moderates that heat around and through this bed. And you've just got to keep it moist. I mean I haven't watered this since the spring. It's perfectly moist underneath there because I've got this plastic layer on top which stops any evaporation. So that's essentially how simple that is. Okay, and now down the other end you can see I've got a thermostat mounted up there which just controls the temperature, so it'll reach the temperature. Currently it's set at about 28, 29. That's how hot I want it, because this whole structure above the soil warming bed is not covered. Normally I have it covered in bubble wrap in extreme cold the minute it's open, so I've set the temperature fairly high because most of it will dissipate around the greenhouse, which also serves other purposes for me. You can see to the right of it, and just slightly lower down, as I've got a little tiny frost heater in here as well. It doesn't do a great deal, but it's good enough and it helps during the spring months. So from that thermostat there is a black cable you can see that goes from the bottom of it, and that's a little probe, and that just goes into the sand in there. So once it reaches to a decent temperature, it can switch itself off, and as it detects it's going down, the temperature's dropping, it will switch itself back on. So that's steady, which is ideal for what I'm doing and what I'm using this bench propagator for at the minute. Getting all these seeds going and growing these plants on through these, you know, December, Christmas into January. I'm going to get on with sowing some seeds, and these two that I'm sowing in these little pots are pak choi. Already got some growing. They're coming near to the end of the life. They're going to seed and we're scoffing them like mad. So this is a white variety, and I'm just going to broadcast loads on here. Some will be potted on to grow into plants, which will then get planted out either in the polytunnel or the ground outside down the allotments, but under protection. And some will be eaten from these trays that they're in now as microgreens. So nothing will hopefully be wasted. So that's those two there. Quick label. Pak choi red, pak choi green. So those two very quickly. So there's 2 more seeds sown. Now we'll move on to the bigger stuff. So I've got some salads and stuff done, and I've got a massive bag of radish here. Now I don't know if any of you have ever eaten radish leaves, but they are fantastic. And again, I'm growing these as a bit of a microgreen. So I'm just going to sow them. I've got a massive packet here, dirt cheap, from Premier Seeds Direct as always, where all my cheap seeds come from. I'll just put quite a few in there. I could do 6 or 7 trays like that from this bag, and the whole bag probably cost me 99p. So that's radish, that one. And then I'm going to do another one in a second. It's a kale. I cannot spell. So that's the radish. And this one is kale. But again, these will grow up to, well, however tall they grow really. But I'll probably be snipping them at 2 to 3 inches tall, I would think. It's just all about having a selection of stuff to pick at, you know. Cut and come again, if you like. Again, there's like 2,000 seeds in that packet. Probably cost me 99p. It's definitely a Premier seed, so it will have done. And then just cover them over, water them, and I'll leave them in the propagator and see what happens. I love this sort of growing at this time of year. It just keeps your options open. It keeps giving you loads and loads of stuff to eat. So I'm just sowing a few more here. This one is a Mizuna, and I'm hoping to be able to prick these out again to grow down on the allotment, either outside or under protection. But we'll have to see how that goes. And then we've got a lamb's lettuce here. This is typical winter fare really, lamb's lettuce. So that's that fella. So much seed, unreal. And this one is a new one to me. This is a freebie with a magazine. I'll try and pronounce it. Riccia Rossa da Taglio. I think it might be French. No, I think it's Italian. But this one, it says, sow year round for tasty leaves. So, I am. Now, apart from those, I've still a few more to sow, and I'll keep going on this. Lettuce winter density, I'm in two minds about that one. Hasn't been very good this year. Got a couple of herbs to sow here. There's some dill, chervil and coriander, windowsill staples. I'll get them on the go in some little pots, I think. There's some more kale to go in, and I'm going to put some peas in as well for some pea shoots, and I'll probably grow them in pots like that, but haven't quite decided yet. But that's it really. Do have a go at sowing some seeds. You can see it is all very quick to do and to get done. So you can nip out to your greenhouse or your space or wherever you garden and very quickly sow some seeds and get them on the go. If you haven't got heat like I have, I've got this bench propagator. If you haven't got heat like that, then put them in smaller trays or pots, aim for a smaller harvest, put them on your windowsill. Put them on your windowsills around the house, put a plastic bag over the top to create a heated warm atmosphere for them, and keep your eye on the watering, and you'll still get crops. As I say, if you want to go to full hog, you can make yourself a propagator like I've got behind us here that you've already seen, and ever since I've had that, and I've had it for, well, must be 10-12 years now, it's been in constant use. It's only really in high summer that I'm not actually using it, so sort of June, July, August I don't really use it for that month, but plants are sat on it even though it's switched off, so it's in constant use all the time. So do give it a go. Most of your brassicas can be grown as microgreens, and all of your lettuces can be grown, and when they get up to 2 or 3 leaves you can cut them and eat them as a young immature lettuce, again as microgreens as they call them. So do give it a go, get some stuff growing, and if it's not ready for Christmas it'll be ready going into January, and they're the bleak months when, you know, the ground starts to freeze into January, February. But if you've got a couple of lettuce on your windowsill, and if it makes you 2 sandwiches, it's a bonus. So have a go at that, and don't forget the herbs as well. The herbs are, I think, vital. So that's me done for now on camera. I'll do those herbs. I need to go and find some more pots, and please look after yourselves, everyone. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-ra now.